Shall I check my notes? Oh, I can't check my notes! Oh, fuck! Oh, fuck, okay. Right, let me try and... I have to use my noggin.
Oh no, you're fucked. Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today we'll be reviewing Haunt.
So Haunt is basically about a group of teenagers who go into a haunted house kind of experience, almost like an escape room type thing, and everything is not as it seems.
Shock horror. We've seen this kind of thing before, in terms of like what actually happens. It's nothing new. I was expecting just another like cheesy kind of jump scary horror film, you know, like most modern ones are nowadays. But this was not afraid to pull any punches.
No, it wasn't. It was scary in a different type of way. It wasn't really full of jump scares. There might have been a couple, but it was more about the suspense and the gore. And some of the gore was legit.
Yeah.
There were some scenes that, you know, they came on and like something would happen and we'd just be like, whoa!
I think there were a couple of bits where I literally had to just go, okay!
Yeah, there was one
just
bit,
look at the wall.
There was one bit where neither of us could watch it.
Yeah.
Like, it showed what was going to happen before it happened and we both just went, nope!
Yeah. I mean, you just heard the sound effects.
Yeah, hearing it was enough. But yeah, so it was really effective in what it was doing. It's clearly a low budget film. I don't know what the budget was, but it's clearly a low budget. And what that forces you to do generally is get creative. And they really did get creative. I mean, there was so many scenes of kind of almost Saw-like ideas that were really cool to see. And about halfway through the film, I realised I actually genuinely cared about these characters. Like, I didn't really want them to die. Like, the main character in particular, I was like actually quite like fearful for her. I was like, oh shit, no, she better not die.
To be fair, once it got to a certain point, you kind of saw things fall into place. Like, she was obviously gonna be the equivalent of so-and-so from this other horror film.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know, you typically have like your final girl, you have like
The
love
virgin.
interest, the virgin,
The black guy.
yeah, the
There was no black guy.
chubby
Oh,
funny,
there's a black girl.
chubby funny guy.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But,
Yeah.
but it didn't really feel overly tropey to me. Like, even though they had all the elements on paper, it felt like different enough. In
Very
its own
modern,
right.
I think. I feel like they were relatable characters. Like, each of the characters reminded me of like one of my friends, kind of.
Yeah, one in particular.
Yeah, it didn't fall into the trap that a lot of horror films do, where it just becomes too silly or it tries to be more than it actually is. It was kept, I'm going to say grounded, but only quite grounded, because there was a bit that I kind of thought, okay, bit of a stretch.
It is pretty grounded for the most part, in the sense that it could all happen with, you know, fucked up enough people and stupid enough people. But at the same time, something happens like right at the end, like literally the last 2 minutes of the film, which for me just tipped it over the edge of, you know, I had to kind of suspend my disbelief for that. And again, like with Ad Astra, I think if it had finished just a couple of minutes earlier, it would have been better for me.
Oh yeah, the final scene was too much.
Something I appreciated in Haunt as well was the production design and the set design and stuff. I thought it was all really cool looking.
Yeah, and each section of this haunted house that they went to definitely had its uniqueness about it.
Yeah.
And it was almost like some of the rooms were a callback or almost like a modernized like version of something we've seen in other horror.
Or even places you've been in real life.
Yeah, like there were definitely references I got to like Saw, like you said, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There were a couple of references in there that I thought were pretty good.
In terms of flaws, like something we both said, and I think this is something more that happened earlier in the film rather than later, was the dialogue was a bit, I don't even know the word, just a bit weird.
At times, yeah.
Like, there was one line where someone said, you know how I know he's an alcoholic? Because he's an alcoholic. And like, there was certain lines like that where you're like, huh?
There are also a couple of the dumb moments where you just think, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Oh.
There was a couple, yeah. In general, it was better than the majority of horror films, but yeah, there were still a couple of times where a character will make a decision and you're like, really? Use your common sense.
There's also like a running thing through this film where there's a lot of plot convenience, I think. Like, characters show up where they probably shouldn't.
The acting was really good as well, because often in these low-budget horrors, when they can't afford, you know, well-known actors or well-established actors, that's one of the things that you can notice the most, is like that the acting's not good. But to be honest, there were very few occasions where I found the acting to be bad in this.
Yeah, I'd say apart from the occasional bit of bad writing,
Yeah.
they all like pulled off the performances quite well. I quite liked all of them.
Yeah, and considering some of the stuff they have to do as well, like they didn't have tame performances. You know, there's a lot of screaming and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and like being scared, and
It's like a problem I have with some horror films is if the like main group of characters have too many annoying tropes about them, then when they die, I don't really feel anything. But like, I'm genuinely gutted about some of the things that happen to this group of teenagers, like in the film.
Yeah, and
And that's always a good sign.
Yeah, the thing is, if you're writing a slasher, I guess there's two ways to go about it. You can either deliberately write the characters as being annoying as hell so that the audience want them to die, which is the easy way to do it, or you can make the audience care for the characters and fear for the characters' lives, which is so much harder to do. And they did it here, and I really think it paid off.
Mm-hmm. I'd say the camera work in this film was really good.
It was, yeah.
Something that I've noticed in recent horror films is now and again they'll try and hide what's actually acting on screen through like camera cuts or just like angles, stuff like that. In this, like I always knew what was happening at all times to like all the characters, and it's just like it shows that there was a good director on set making sure that things were being seen that were supposed to be seen. Like there's no confusion at all.
Well, also, you know, they're in this enclosed location where they have to kind of go through tunnels and upstairs and round trapdoors and all that kind of stuff, and you never really feel lost in the house. You always kind of are aware of like how far in they are, and so yeah, it was very just well
coordinated.
Yeah, well coordinated. But also in terms of camera movements, I was thinking like in a different sense, the camera movement was good because it wasn't just point and shoot. You know, it wasn't just like someone's talking, point the camera at them, someone else talking, point the camera at them. There was a lot of there's a lot of like pullbacks and tracking, and you know how you were saying they always knew when to show stuff. They also always knew when not to show stuff. Like sometimes a character would be horrified at looking at something, and we wouldn't see it for a few seconds, and you'd be like, "What is it? What is it?" Like I'm really like dying to see it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then they show you at the exact right moment for like maximum impact. So, and yeah, I think the editing as well, and that comes down to the editing was really good too.
Yeah, this was a nice little surprise for me. I didn't know what to think going in, but I enjoyed myself, and the runtime was not long enough where I was happy for it to end. It was just the right amount of length for me.
I think it's about an hour and a half.
Yeah, 90-something minutes.
Yeah, good.
A lot happens in that 90 minutes, so I was kept invested throughout. So well done you.
Something we said when watching it actually is because there's a lot of scares and a lot of just like hot, like really gory imagery and stuff like that. It'd be a really good film to put on if you've got some mates round and you're kind of getting a bit drunk. Like it's the kind of film you can put on in the background and kind of half watch.
It's like You're Next. I think that's probably the most recent one where I went in not knowing anything about it, but knowing coming out of it that I would then be happy to watch it.
Is that the one where I had to go sit on the stairs because I nearly passed out?
Yes.
Yeah. Good times.
But yeah, good time all around.
Yeah, really good time, I'd say. I would actually say this is one of my favourites that I've seen this year.
Yeah, it's probably a sleeper hit.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the problem is that it's not really gotten a lot of traction.
No, well, I think that's partially because of the budget. They obviously haven't had the marketing, because I didn't see a trailer for it or anything like that.
Yeah.
Advertised, so yeah, I don't think it's going to make the money that it should make, but who knows, maybe it'll pick up a cult following over the years or something. But
yeah, I hope so. It's really good.
It is. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one.